Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
Now at 6, we're on the weather watch tonight. The first snowflakes of the season in the forecast.
Make sure that the plow trucks have plows on them, the spreaders are filled, the salt shed has material, and when the weather conditions warrant, we go out and treat the streets.
We have live team coverage tracking the timing and how crews are preparing to keep the roads safe.
Plus, remembering a fallen firefighter.
Firefighter Mieles, forever.
Tonight, final goodbyes, how family and friends are honoring Thomas Mieles as he's laid to rest.
And new term, new team. Governor Ned Lamont laying out his plans.
I'm incredibly optimistic about how far we've come in the last 4 years, and we're just getting started.
The two key replacements in his administration as he plans to settle in for his second term.
And fancy footwork off the field. Football players are trading touchdowns for tutus.
Our dancers make it look easy on stage, and our football players got to see firsthand how hard it really is to dance.
The lessons athletes are learning as they hit the dance floor. The Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the News at 6. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. We are on the weather watch tonight, the first snow of the season in the forecast. We are taking a look at the radar right now, that storm system moving on in.
Let's all celebrate at once. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with what we could expect. Hi, Rach.
Hi, yeah, a lot of people are either excited about the snow coming in or just want to cover their eyes and wake up when it's summertime. Taking a look, this is going to be a really good kind of training wheel sort of event for us. It should be fairly easy to get through. You don't need the snowblower for this, but you should know if you're out over the next several hours or so, there could be a few slippery spots, especially in the higher elevations. But luckily for the duration of this event, temperatures will mainly be above freezing, the exception in the Northwest Hills. You can see that snow already starting to fly for areas to the west of us. And if we zoom in, you'll see it looks like it's snowing in Litchfield County, but likely not making it to the ground just yet. There's still some dry air in place. But as we head through the course of the next several hours or so, that will change as that wintry mix of snow and sleet moves in and then changes over to rain overnight. So I want to stop the clock here as we head towards 9 o'clock. Notice it's snowing for most areas north and west of Hartford, but along the shoreline, it's just rain, likely from start to finish, although there could be a sleet pellet or a snowflake that mix in occasionally. And then as we head towards 11 or 12, we change over to rain. The exception will be in northwestern Connecticut with temperatures close to or even just below freezing, and that could form a bit of an icy glaze on top of any snow that ends up falling, while 99% of the state is just seeing rain showers for the morning commute and no real issues. There could be a few spots, again, in northwestern Connecticut that are still a little bit slippery, especially on some back roads, but that will be the exception rather than the rule. So some minor accumulation, anywhere from none up to around a slushy inch or so, likely gets washed away after that change over to rain. And there could be an inch or two for some of the higher elevations of northwestern Connecticut with a little layer of ice on top, which is why there is a winter weather advisory in effect for Hartford and Litchfield counties. Where do we go from here? Your full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Local public works crews are using this small snow event as a test run for a tough season ahead. Fox 61's Matt Karen is live in Winchester with how towns are preparing.
Well, good evening from beautiful downtown Winchester. We're here in the higher elevations of the Litchfield Hills. People are certainly no strangers to snow. Luckily, most of the leaves have fallen off of the trees, and public works departments are telling me that they have all their heavy equipment ready to go and are closely monitoring a changing situation. Preparing for Connecticut's first accumulating snow of the season.
All our trucks prepared, inspected, all the equipment, make sure that we're ready to go for anything that Mother Nature throws our way.
From the state roads to the local ones.
Make sure that the plow trucks have plows on them, the spreaders are filled, the salt shed has material, and when the weather conditions warrant, we go out and treat the streets.
Tuesday's weather event won't be a blockbuster, but it will bring precipitation in all forms. Vernon, the Tallinn County town, loaded the trucks with salt to prepare for a wintry mix. Other areas could just see rain, while some will see snow. making the decision whether to pre-treat the road surface a more difficult one.
Some storms, we haven't decided on this one yet.
Here in the Litchfield County town of Winchester, public works crews were busy paving the way to a fully stocked salt shed with all the heavy equipment.
Snow moving equipment, there's roughly 15 trucks and a couple of loaders.
But they are short on manpower. The same is true for state DOT.
We have more than 600 vacancies across the Department of Transportation.
The Department of Transportation telling Fox 61 that's due in large part to a lack of CDL license holders.
People who operate these large trucks to plow the roads. So we are short-staffed for some of these larger storms. We will ask the public to have some patience with us. It may take us a little bit longer to clear the roads.
And if you're wondering how municipalities know how much salt to stock up on in those sheds, typically it's a calculation on how much they've consumed on average over the last 10 years. Here in Connecticut, the totality of the snow removal season began on November 1st. It typically ends on April 1st. Reporting in Winchester, Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
Our towns and cities have a lot of experience with that. Matt, thank you very much. And we are following breaking news right now into the newsroom. A shooting investigation is underway in Hartford.
Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez joining us in the breaking news center now with more on that. Sarah?
Well, Ben and Jen, tonight a man is shot, expected to survive, though. The shooting investigation is happening at 60 Main Street in the capital city. Taking a live look at the scene, you can see a police presence here and crime tape up blocking the scene. Now, we don't know much right now. However, we do know that it happened right around 5 tonight. Police found the victim suffering from a gunshot wound. Police say the victim is in his 40s and he was taken to the hospital and listed as stable. No word yet on any arrest or potential suspects. This investigation is happening close to Barnard Park and blocks away from Hartford Hospital. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more on air, online, and on the free Fox 61 News app. In the Breaking News Center, Sarah Sanchez, Ben, Jen, back to you.
Sarah, thank you. Earlier this morning, Governor Ned Lamont announced administrative changes for his upcoming second term.
Yeah, a week ago, the incumbent Democrat won another 4 years in office, beating Republican challenger Bob Stefanowski.
Fox 61's political reporter Emma Wolfhorst joining us now in studio with the changes the governor's making. Emma?
Ben, Jen, today Lamont is looking to a new term, and that means a new team. He announced the appointments of a new chief of staff and general counsel. Both Paul Mounds, who served as chief of staff starting in February 2020, and Nora Danahay, general counsel since March 2021, will step down when the governor's first term ends January 4th.
It's a little bittersweet for me, but that's what a transition is all about. And I'm incredibly optimistic about how far we've come in the last 4 years, and we're just getting started.
Tuesday, Lamont announced current policy director Jonathan Dock will replace Paul Mounds as chief of staff, and state comptroller Natalie Braswell will take over for Nora Danahay as general counsel.
We've been thinking about this for a while. It's going to be a smooth transition.
Mounds spoke about his departure, saying he never thought he'd be considered for a role like this and is grateful for the opportunity.
I know I'm leaving this in good hands. Why? Because this is an amazing governor. This is the best governor in the nation, and I would say that to anyone.
Lamont will be sworn in for his second term January 4th. The same day, the state legislature will begin its next session, but lawmakers could be meeting sooner than that. Talks this week of a possible special session to address the expiring gas tax holiday.
I don't think we're going to have a cliff on the gas starting on December 1st. I think we ought to have a meeting, special session before that.
The gas tax holiday is set to end December 1st, and legislators on both sides of the aisle want a special session to extend that suspension. Tuesday, Lamont says his team is in talks with legislative leaders, and he is in support of a special session.
We just had preliminary conversations just to understand so they can prepare their members going forward for later in the week.
No word yet on when this special session could take place. Mounds did say a date would be up to legislative leadership, but Lamont agreed sooner is better. Ben, Jen.
All right, Emma, thank you. In other news, New Haven firefighters said goodbye to one of their own this afternoon.
Firefighter Thomas Mielis died in a car crash earlier this month. Fox 61's New Haven County Bureau reporter Julia LeBlanc joins us now live outside of St. Francis Church, where the services were held. Julia.
Hi, good evening to you both. Earlier this afternoon, Ferry Street here in New Haven was filled with family members, friends, and New Haven firefighters who knew 27-year-old Thomas Mieles, who died while he was off duty just 2 weeks ago. But his death now marks the third New Haven firefighter death that the department has had to deal with in less than 2 years. New Haven firefighters saying goodbye to another young service member.
Firefighter Mieles, forever.
First-year firefighter Thomas Mieles worked hard for that title. At just 27 years old, it was a long-time dream of his.
Thomas grew up in this community, served not too far from this place.
Mieles was killed after a multi-car crash on I-91 earlier this month. It's the third death the department has seen since last May.
It's been a tough 18 months for the New Haven Fire Department.
Firefighter William McMillan, a 4-year veteran of the department, died suddenly on May 6 of last year. Just days later, Ricardo Torres Jr. died in the line of duty. And now they lost Mieles 2 weeks ago. He just joined the department in January.
Had started serving the community that he grew up in New Haven, born, raised in Fairhaven, and had a fiancée.
Mieles and his fiancée were going to get married in March. She wore a jean jacket with their wedding date to the funeral. His friends wearing red and white, his favorite colors, as they revved their engines one last time.
What I do remember most about him is that he had a lot of questions. And I could appreciate that because he wanted to do the right thing, and he was very proud to be one of our members.
Members who will take it from here, living and serving in his honor in his neighborhood.
We want people from New Haven that care about New Haven and that are young and are going to be with us for a long time, and this is very tragic.
Now, during the course of this day, we learned a little bit more about Mieles. People who knew him say that he was caring and loving. And even the older members of the New Haven Fire Department say that they did learn something from him. And of course, we know he was very passionate about his job. Now, Mieles was laid to rest at All Saints Cemetery later on this afternoon in North Haven. We're live here in New Haven tonight. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News.